This is Jeopardy! Please welcome our contestants. Player one. Player three. And now, here is the host of Jeopardy, Alex Trebek.
Thank you, Johnny Gilbert. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. Here comes the Jeopardy round. Here are the categories for you. I sentence you. Da plane. Pulp Fiction. The Old Country. Baseball Potpourri. And Inventors and Inventions. Player one, you start. Until 1972, it was Ceylon. Let's hear it, player one.
Yeah.
Player one, back to you. It's used in abbreviations and initials, as well as to end sentences. Yes, player one? We return to you, player one. Black Star was created by Johnston McCulley, most famous for this hero, the best he ever created. Player one? That's correct. Player one, pick again. All Story Magazine's October 1912 issue featured this hero in A Romance of the Jungle. Player one? All right. Player one, pick again. First serialized in Black Mask, the Maltese Falcon introduced the world to this detective. Let's hear it, player one. That's it. Player one, choose again. Friedrich Schiller Faust wasn't a big name in this genre, but his pen name of Max Brand was. Player one. Sorry, that's wrong. Anyone else care to try to come up with a correct response? Here's what we wanted. Westerns. Player one, back to you. It was the Khmer Republic from 1970 until 1975. Player one. That's it. Player one. Until 1975, it was the Malagasy Republic. Player one.
Yes.
Please pick again, player one. Under the name Maxwell Grant, Walter P. Gibson wrote about this pulp hero who knew where evil lurked. It's player one.
Yeah!
That's right, way to go. Please pick again, player one. Burton Braley contradicted himself and wrote, "This is a word you mustn't end a sentence with." Yes, player one? No. Any other takers? Here's what we wanted. A preposition. Player one, back to you. Of I did it, did you do it, or do it. It's the imperative sentence. It's player one. Good. Select this type of sentence has multiple independent clauses and no dependent clauses. Player one? No, that's not right. Anyone else want to hazard a guess on this? The correct response is compound. Player one. The name of this punctuation mark comes from a Greek word meaning piece cut off. Player one? Player one, you pick again, please. It was Siam until 1939. Yes, player one?
Yeah!
Good for you. Player one, I'll hand it off to Sarah.
Shown here on the upper right, it changed its name in 1935.
It's player one.
Woo! Yeah!
Right. Select again. The MVP of the World Series receives an award named for this Yankee slugger. Let's hear it, player one. That's not it. Anyone else? Let's hear it, player three. Right.
Yeah!
Player three, start us. It's the vegetable term for a lazy fly ball that's easy to catch. Player one?
Go!
Yes. Player one. Let's go over to Kelly.
A good place to hit the ball is here, the traditional alliterative term for the center of percussion on a baseball bat.
It's player one.
Yeah!
That means player one. In 1962, this Dodger shortstop stole 104 bases, breaking Ty Cobb's 47-year-old record. Yes, player one?
Yeah!
Select again. Inducted into baseball's Hall of Fame in July of 2007, he won 8 National League batting titles during his 20-year career. Player one?
Yeah!
That's it. Select again. The first commercial plane flights out of the United States were in 1920 between Key West and this nearby country. Okay, player one. Yep. We were in 2004. This airline introduced non-stop flights between Newark and Changi Airport. It's player one. No, that's not right. Any other takers?
Hey, that's good.
Player 2.
Hey, that's good.
That's right. Way to go. All right, let's get back into this. Player 2 has control. Flying at the then incredible speed of 575 miles per hour, the Boeing 707 began commercial flight service in this decade. It's player 1. No. Anyone else care to try to come up with the correct response? We're talking about the 1950s. Player 2, back to you. This U.S. company created the venerable DC-10 jetliner. Okay, player 1. Sorry, that's wrong. Any other takers?
Yeah.
Here's the correct response. McDonnell Douglas. Please pick again, player 2. Answer, the Daily Double. You're in second right now. Player 2, please select your wager. And the clue. The first commercial passenger transatlantic service was by Pan Am in 1939 between New York City and this French port. We're talking about Marseille. Player 2, you pick again, please. Walter Deemer with the Fleer Company invented the first commercially successful type of this chewing gum in 1928. It's player 1. Player 1. In 1879, James A. Ritty invented this machine, and retailers have been ringing up sales ever since. Okay, player 1. You got it. Player 1. In 1798, this cotton gin inventor began using a system of interchangeable parts to make muskets for the U.S. government. Player 1. Sorry, that's wrong. Anyone else want to hazard a guess on this? Let's hear it, player 3. No. Anyone else want to hazard a guess on this? Player 2. Good for you. You're out of the hole. Player 2, make a selection, please, as we continue. In 1938, chemist Roy Plunkett invented polytetrafluoroethylene, a non-stick substance better known as this. Yes, player 1? Yep. And the last clue for $1,000. Martha Costin invented the Costin This, a device for signaling at sea in the 1850s. It's player 1. Anyone else want to hazard a guess on this? Okay, player 3. Good. You're back into some money. Player 2, you're going first in Double Jeopardy. We'll start that round right after this one. Categories for the Double Jeopardy round are rivers, astronomy, SNL actors in the movies, Latin American history, death of an author, and word origins. All right, player 2, as promised, you pick first in Wayne Campbell. Let's hear it, player 2. Woo! You got it. Player 2, back to you. Axel Foley. Okay, player 1. No.
This category is difficult.
Anyone else care to try to come up with a correct response? The correct response is Eddie Murphy. Player 2, choose again. Joliet Jake Blues. Let's hear it, player 3. Nope. Anyone else care to try to come up with a correct response? Here's the response we were looking for. John Belushi. Player 2, back to you for our next selection. In 1979, these were discovered around Jupiter. Saturn has them too. It's player 1. No. Anyone else?
Woo! Yeah! Woo, woo.
Here's the response we were looking for. Rings. Player 2, back to you for our next selection. The Milky Way is classified as this type of galaxy from the way its arms sweep around. Let's hear it, player 1. You got it. All right, let's get back into this. Player 1. She died on July 18th, 1817, after dealing with some Pride and Prejudice in her day. Yes, player 1?
Oh!
Player 1. On September 28th, 1891, he died in New York City after a whale of a life. It's player 1. That's correct. Please pick again, player 1. No amount of electricity could reanimate her on February 1st, 1851. Yes, player 1? No. Anyone else? Yes, player 2.
Oh!
Good for you. Player 2, where do we start? After October 19th, 1745, he would make no more modest proposals. It's player 1. Sorry, that's wrong. Anyone else want to hazard a guess on this?
It's gonna be tough.
Player 3? On the plus side again. All right, let's get back into this. Player 3 has control. It was this author, not the wallpaper, who went on November 30th, 1900. Let's hear it, player 1. Yeah, you're right. Player 1 starts. And I'll hand it off to Jimmy.
In 1565, Portuguese knight Estácio de Sá founded this Brazilian city on Guanabara Bay.
Here's the correct response. Rio de Janeiro. Player 1. By the 7th century, this civilization city of Tikal in the Yucatan had a population of tens of thousands. Okay, player 1. Oh, that's incorrect. Anyone else care to try to come up with a correct response? Yes, player 2. That is correct. Player 2, you start. Candido Rondon found the River of Doubt, now the Rio Roosevelt, which flows in this country's Amazonas state. Player 1. A lot of clues, a lot of categories. Player 1, make a selection. The Keebler elves could probably tell you that the name of this snack comes from a Dutch word for small cake. Player 1. No. All right. Anyone else care to try to come up with a correct response? Here's what we were looking for. A cookie. Please pick again, player 1. Maple or otherwise, this thick, sweet stuff is from the Arabic for to drink. Let's hear it, player 1. That's correct. Select again. First used in a novel about 90 years ago, it refers to a bright person, not someone who resembles Humpty Dumpty. Okay, player 1. Anyone else? Here's what we wanted. An egghead. Player 1. Pick again. Answer. The first of the daily doubles. You are currently in the lead. How much are you going to wager, player 1? Blue. The name of this type of aircraft is from 2 Greek words meaning spiral wing. You have maintained your lead. Good to go. You get to pick again, player 1. The term funny bone is actually a pun on the name of this upper arm bone. Player 1. Player 1, choose again. In 1541, Pedro de Valdivia, a soldier of this Inca conqueror, founded the city of Santiago in Chile. Yes, player 1. Yes. In 1957, this physician and patron of voodoo was elected president of Haiti, which he ruled with an iron fist for 14 years. It's player 1. Sorry. That's right. Anyone else care to try to come up with the correct response? We're talking about Francois Duvalier. Player 1. Pick again. In December of 1980, a junta appointed Jose Napoleon Duarte president of this small Central American country. Let's hear it, player 1. Right you are. Player 1, back to you for our next selection. British River, on which Oxford's great rival university is located. Okay, player 1. That's not it. Anyone else? The correct response is the Cam. Player 1. Pick again. This name for radio sources that are among the brightest and most distant objects in the universe was coined in 1964. Okay, player one. Nope. Sorry. Anyone else care to try to come up with a correct response? We're talking about quasar. You again, player one. A list of this planet's moons, including Oberon and Titania, reads like a who's who of Shakespeare. Let's hear it, player one. You are correct. You can have a roaring good time watching this meteor shower that put on an historic show in 1833. Let's hear it, player one. No, that's not right. Anyone else? It's player three. Right. Player three, make a selection, please, as we continue. GE acknowledges that in the 20th century, it dumped PCBs into this river around Troy. It's player one. Right you are. Player one. Yeah. The second daily double. And you're in the lead now. So what's your wager? And the clue. It's fed by the Hasbani River in Lebanon and by the Banias in Syria. However, you keep your lead. Here's the correct response. The Jordan. We return to you, player one. Its upper part runs clear. It clouds up near Great Falls, Montana, and gets muddier from there. Player one. Anyone else care to try to come up with a correct response? Here's the correct response. The Missouri. Please pick again, player one. MacGruber. We're talking about Will Forte. Here's the $2,000 clue. Mrs. Primat Conehead. It's player two. No. Anyone else want to hazard a guess on this? The correct response is Jane Curtin. All three of you will participate in Final Jeopardy right after this. Final Jeopardy still to come, and here's the category. Traveling the globe, you need to select your region. This is a good category. Here's the clue for you. Flying U.S. from Los Angeles, it's the first foreign country you would reach. Did you come up with the correct response? With that correct response, you will gain. And your response? Sorry, that incorrect response will drop your score by. Let's see your response. With that correct response, you will gain. This makes you our new champion, player one, so congratulations. We'll see you all next time.